Risk factors for preventable chronic diseases are tobacco use, lack of physical activity, and excessive alcohol use. The risk factors have caused unpreventable and preventable diseases like disability and death. To reduce these risk factors, prevent diseases or injury before it ever occurs, reduce the impact of a disease or injury that has already occurred, soften the impact of an ongoing illness or injury that has lasting effects. We all need to invest our time and money in improving healthy lifestyle behaviors by increasing physical activity and improving our diet. By doing this, almost 35% of early deaths will be avoided. Our integrative nutrition health specialist, Betty Olayinka Folarin, advocates for this every Sunday on Health Corner and Nutrition segments showing on Healthy Living with Beaufort Channel every Sunday, 2 p.m. U.S. time, 7 p.m. UK and Nigeria time, 8 p.m. South African time. See you there.
Sex during fasting is a topic many of us struggle to talk about. And when we do, we don't always fess up about what it's really like. Yes, we don't tell the truth or confess what we really feel about it. The biggest thing I've learned when it comes to fasting in a relationship, and I'm using relationship because there are lots of people out there in a relationship that live together, fast together, and pray together, yet they are not married. So I will be using relationship instead of marriage. So the biggest thing I've learned about sex and fast is a lot of us are not satisfied with our sex life. But we think most other people are. And that is why you hear so many questions out there. There are some of misconceptions and questions women especially have about sex during fasting. Let's talk about the correlation, the relationship between sex and fast. How does intermittent fasting affect human sex drive, our sex drive? When we return from the break. I'm Dr. Betty, and you're watching Healthy Living with Beaufort Health and Nutrition Talk Show. Time to go on a break. I will right back.
Health is wealth, vital is vital. You gotta take care of yourself.
Hello, do you want to live your best? You want to live your way into a healthy and beautiful body, free from all forms of diseases such as diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, hemorrhoid, and so on? Are you limited to particular food intake due to your health status? Oh yeah, I bring to you good news, as you can eat what you want. Yes, you can. B&B African Healthy Food provides foods that suit all forms of health status with long life. Contact us today for any of these services: holistic nutrition consulting, catering based on individual health status such as diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, among others. We also do catering for household, offices, small and big events. Visit us in our office at 10039 Bisonet Street, Suite 228D, Houston, Texas, with zip code 77036. You can as well book an appointment with us on our website www.begandbomservices.com or call 347-61 35485 347-61 35485. All order can be delivered to your doorstep. At B&B African Healthy Food, your health matters to us.
Health is wealth, vital is vital. You gotta take care of yourself.
Thank you for staying with us, viewers. Today we are focusing on connection between sex and fast. How does fasting affect our sex life? Do they really have anything in common? Are they related? Is there any relationship between these two acts? That is what we are addressing today. So let's get right into it. First, let me get you familiar with what intermittent fasting is, because many people do not understand what intermittent fasting is. They think a fast is a fast. And today I'm going to be focusing on intermittent fasting because intermittent fasting is more related when it comes to sex. Yes. Now, what is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting is an eating pattern where you circle between periods of eating and fasting. It does not say anything about which food to eat, but rather when you should eat them. Intermittent fasting is more about rules on eating periods as opposed to what you can eat, which is likely why it is a popular method for weight loss. I must tell you that this type of fasting can be highly beneficial in the period of hormonal disbalance, or you call it imbalance, especially for women over 50, because it helps maintain proper hormone levels. Yes, so if you are 50 and you are experiencing hormonal disbalance, I suggest you just go on intermittent fasting. This will help you. Yes. Now that you understand what intermittent fasting is, what is the correlation? The connection between fast and sex, and as well as the effects of both. What do they have in common? And how do they affect each other? First, let's talk about the relationship, because some people believe that fast is a spiritual exercise, while sex is a carnal flesh demand. They don't believe that they have anything in common. They do not think there is any relationship between the two. Fast and sex. And I said there is. But before I say it, I need you to understand something. I need you to understand that fasting is the abstention from eating and sometimes drinking. That is a fact. I want you to understand. It is not a spiritual exercise. It becomes a spiritual exercise when it is observed religiously. And that is spiritual cleansing right there. When it is not observed spiritually, it is a physical exercise that is observed to detox, cleanse, and renew your system. So when you fast, you don't know what you are fasting for. That is unbelievable. And if anyone tells you that, oh, I'm fasting, you don't know the reason why the person is fasting. You can only speak for yourself. If you fast, you know what you're fasting for, right? I don't do spiritual fasting as much as I do physical. And that is why I look the way I look. I do more intermittent fasting compared to spiritual cleansing. I do physical cleansing because that is what I need to live physically. And if you are not physically fit, if you are not physically active, it is going to be hard for you to go on spiritual cleansing. That is the fact I want you to understand. Yes. If you don't have anything inside of you, you won't have strength to even go on fasting. Spiritual fasting. So you must have been on a very good state of health before you can think of doing spiritual cleansing. We have different types of fasting. It could be spiritual, it could be physical. And physical is when you are detoxing, cleansing, and neutralizing your system. You just want to empty your system before you when you don't eat from morning till 12, you fast right there. That is fasting. That is considered physical fasting. You cleanse your system from morning till afternoon. You prepare your system for another food to come in. And that is why you see many people, when they gain weight, it's because all the food they have eaten prior before the next day have not digested. They eat more and more and more instead of them to wait and see their system digesting, cleansing before they had more food. Especially those of you that eat heavy food at night. When you wake up in the morning, you quickly take another food. That is why you gain weight, because you have 12 hours window to cleanse your system, to get rid of those food you ate yesterday. You have 12 hours window to remove them, to excrete them from your system. And if this is not taking place, that means you had more food, and which can make you gain weight. That is why we recommend for anyone that wants to lose weight to go on intermittent fasting. This helps a lot. Now, back to the relationship between sex and fast. There is a very close relationship between sex and food. It is hard to feel romantic if you are starving. Our body produces a chemical stimulant called phenylethylamine, can call it PEA, as well as norepinephrine. They make our bodies feel alert, alive, excited. And many of us lose our appetite when we feel this way, isn't it? When you feel happy, you forget to eat sometimes. This is what takes place in your body when this chemical is released in your body. The human needs for food and sex are basic, part of the foundation of our nature, which make it sensible that they are so closely knit together. Believe it or not, I just give you the best answer. That is the only information you can get. Check it online. Speak to an expert relating to this. This is what they will tell you. They are closely related. Sex and food, they are related. For instance, chocolate is an aphrodisiac that contains the chemical PEA, which creates a rush of feeling of euphoria. That is ecstasy. You can call it joy, you can call it excitement. Yes. PEA causes the release of dopamine. Remember, I talked about dopamine chemical that your body releases when you have sex. Yes, PEA causes the release of dopamine, which is the same chemical that is released during all sorts of highs, including orgasm, gambling, and drug use. Dark chocolate contains most of these chemicals, PEA. Of course, we have other food that also increase PEA. Food like apples, avocados, tomatoes, almonds, cedar cheese, and so on. These food release PEA. Your body needs to be excited. Your body needs to be alert. Your body needs to feel happy. Eat them. Eat more of those, especially when you want to have sex. Now, if you fast and you don't get this chemical, of course, you may say it's just 1 to 3 days. But let me tell you, if it continues, your body will be adapted to not getting the chemical called PEA. And when you need it, you won't get it that time or on time. Take note of this and pay attention when you see them. If you see these so-called born again who fast every day, yes, you will realize that they are not happy. They are weak and as well as ugly. They are weak, they are unhappy, they look haggard. Do you know why that happened? And of course, they are the most aggravating human beings on earth so far. The most aggravating human being, the most cranky human being on earth, they are born again Christian. They call themselves born again Christian. I don't know where they get the meaning from. Maybe because they see them as a Christian, they go to church, they fast, they wear like, they dress like, excuse me. They are the most aggravating, the most wicked, the most cranky people on earth. Do you know why that happened? Because their bodies refuse to release the chemical called PEA that makes them feel excited, feel happy. That is why they look like that, because they fast every day. And once you fast, you don't get that chemical. And if you don't have that chemical in your body released, you are not happy. Nothing will excite you. So if you see any born again, you tell any born again that, oh, you just graduated, oh, you just have a baby, or you just buy a house, or you just buy a car, and it feels like, excuse me, and so what? It is not our fault. It's not his fault. that chemical, that hormone in her that will make her, the hormone in her that will release that chemical is not active. That is why they cannot be happy with you, because they are not getting it. You see, that is why people say that it is what you have, you give. If you don't have love, you don't give love. If you are not happy from within, there's no way it will show physically on you. You cannot possess that happiness if you don't have it coming from inside of you. But if you have hormone in you that is releasing that happiness, everything you do in life, you walk, you talk, you smile, you cry, is being released. All those acts you put up, you are happy, you do this, you do that, you laugh. These things are being done by hormones in your body system. There is hormone. There are lots of hormones in your body that perform all these functions in you. And if you don't do something that will make those hormones to release those things, the acts, to put up the acts in you, we will not do it. That is what we don't get. And when people say, I'm fasting 70 days, if you do it excessively, you will pay for it. There's a consequence for everything we do in excess. Yes. Write it down. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should not fast. Everything must be done in moderation. Do it in moderation. You are not the only one that have problem in this world. Other people do. And we still live. I have problem. You see me, money problem. Oh. Problem. Oh, then. Yes. But I will not come to the show and tell you that I have problem, because I don't want to look my problem. I don't want to look my problem, because if I look my problem, you will not enjoy me, and that will affect you. It will affect everybody around me. Please take note. Now, the major challenge is that there are so many man-made rules and guidelines concerning sex during a fast. And these rules and, guidelines become confusing to the couples, especially. Some of these are, I would say, but not limited to this. Number one, they will say, 0 sex during a fast. It is a sin to have sex while fasting. It is okay to have sex after breaking your fast in the evening. Some will even say, you should not sleep in the same bed during a fast. In fact, some will even say not even in bed, in the same room. Some will say you don't sleep in the same room during a fast. That is couple. I'm talking about couples now. Most of these rules have unfortunately aided more confusion among couples during the fast period, while they have also discouraged some couples from fasting. Because if I'm married to a pastor, or if I want to marry to a pastor, and I realize that, this place I'm going to is a battlefield though, that I need to fight spiritually. And the only way I can fight the spiritual battle is through fasting. And I don't have the stamina. I don't have strength for that. I have studied, I have known what fast is all about. And I want to put myself in a bondage. I will just say, you know what, I'm withdrawing. I will not marry. And if I marry the person and I've been subjected to that fasting, it can cause problem in my marriage. So, okay, you know what? I don't want to do that, because I won't be able to sleep with my husband. I won't be able to have sex. I won't be able to do so. They just want to abstain from fasting. They will just abstain from fasting. They are not encouraged to do so. Why? Because of the rules and guidelines placed on the table by so-called religious leaders. Yes, but that is not what I'm discussing today. I'm not talking about the religious part. This one I just talked about right here. It's one of the negative physical effects. Of course, it's one of them, which I'm still going to talk about the negative effect. But today, I'm discussing health effects of fasting on our sex drive. I just put you through all this for you to know what I'm actually talking about, so that you get familiar with that when I get to the health aspect of it. That is what I prepared you for. So I'm actually talking about health effect of fasting on our sex drive. Yes. And I'm happy to announce to you that the effects could be positive and negative. But today, we talk about the positive. And that will take me to sex fasting. What is sex fasting? Much like food fasting, sex fasting involves the restriction of pleasure for some sort of benefit. Whether that involves a deep connection to self or rejuvenation from the cleansing effects. Sex fasting allows you to pay attention to the sensation you have become desensitized to. Yes. Sex fasting can offer changes in sexual responses and may even increase desire. So I'm talking about the positive effect now. Let me tell you this. Sex fasting can strengthen relationship between partners too, by allowing each partner to step back and increase their awareness around sex. Whether you are married or you are yet to marry, or you are about to marry, this can happen. It can strengthen your relationship. It can make you to step back and increase your awareness around sex. This brief period of restriction allows you to calibrate and change routine sex from monotonous to momentous. Yes. The restriction affords perspective and time to consider your truths, wants, and desire. Yes. And you get to decide which part of your sex life you want to continue upkeeping, and which part you are ready to shift or try something new. Yes, that's it. Many people can't find the time or space to redefine what sex means or what they want it to look like when they don't take a step back. Yes, things feel different when you have taken a break and had time to gain a new perspective. The benefit of sex fasting can also extend to dating. Yes. This period of abstinence allows you to understand patterns and dynamics with others and the perspective as to if you might want to shift some of these patterns. Sex fasting can lead to more international relationships and a clearer picture of sexual desire and how to identify your needs and advocate for them. Sex fasting may strengthen your orgasms. Yes, how does it strengthen your orgasms? How does this sex fasting strengthen your orgasms? Orgasms offer myriad emotional and physical benefits like increased immunity, better sleep, brain health, and improved mental health. Yes, if you have orgasms, you will have a better sleep, your brain will be so healthy, and your mental health will improve. Your immunity will be strong. Yes, that is what orgasm. So if you're having sex and you don't come, there's a problem. There's a fire in the mountain. If you have sex and you don't come, because the meaning of orgasm is come. When you have sex and you come That means you enjoy it, the hormone is released, you feel that the pain hormone is released and you feel happy. But when you don't come, there's no orgasms. Oh, forget it. You have to go back until you come. That is when you get up. If you don't come, don't get up, we'll continue. If it's going to take you till tomorrow, make sure you come before you have him get up. It's very important because you want to have a good sleep. You want your brain to be healthy. You want to have good immune system in you. And you want your mental health to be sound. That is why you must come if you have sex. Go and talk to any, sex experts. They will tell you what I'm telling you. Because sex fasting offers new awareness and perspective as to the sensation involved in sex. You might find that after a sex fast, your orgasms are stronger and more intense. Try it. Yes, try it. Now, there are many side effects of sex during fasting. And that will take me to negative effect of sex during fasting. In fact, there are two versions of the intermittent fasting. Let me give you this real quick. There are two versions of the intermittent fasting diet. One is when you follow the 16-8 method. That is 16 hours, 8 hours method, which involves eating. You may not have to worry much if you simply limit the time during the day. But if you go without eating for 1 or 2 days, it is possible that you experience some dip in your energy levels and hence your sex drive. If you are fasting, you will not be left with too much energy for any physical activity. Yes. Let's talk about what happens to your body when you have sex on an empty stomach next week. Should you have sex? Why fasting? Let's talk about this next week. I'm Dr. Betty. Thank you so much for joining us today on the show. I'm grateful having you. Have a good night, everyone. Love you.